Hi guys, thanks for tuning in to another video on ForgottenWeapons.com, although this is one that isn't quite the normal thing. Today, instead of talking about some particularly cool gun, today we're going to briefly discuss Patreon, because I have made some changes to the Forgotten Weapons Patreon account. There's a bunch of new perks, and I want to let you guys know what they are and explain some of them. So, let's get started. At $1 a month, you'll get invites to all of the meetups that I'm able to do. So as I travel, and I'm trying to do this more and more, I try to set aside some time to meet up with some of you guys wherever I may happen to be, because you, the Forgotten Weapons audience, are truly a global audience. So I enjoy getting a chance to meet some of you in person, grab a bite to eat, grab something to drink, chat about interesting and obscure firearms and related issues, because I know there's not necessarily always a lot of people around who are interested, so it's fun to get together and do that from time to time. That is sometimes in the United States. It's often also outside the US whenever I'm traveling to a major city. Well, we'll try and publish a meetup and get to know some of you guys. Now I decided I kind of wanted to make those meetups a little bit smaller so that I can actually talk to people instead of just having a huge group of people where I can shake hands and sign autographs, and that's about it. So I decided that's something that I was going to restrict to just the folks who contribute on Patreon. That's the simplest possible way I can think of to really say thank you for your support in making the channel possible. At $2 a month, you get to submit questions for the monthly Q&A videos. I've been doing those for a little while now, but honestly, I've been getting way more questions than I can possibly answer. And I was looking for a good perk for the $2 a month folks, and I thought that fits it pretty well. So if you would like to submit a question to be answered in those usually monthly, as much as I can fit them in monthly, Q&A videos, $2 is your level. At $5 a month, you get access to the Forgotten Weapons Discord server. Discord is a voice and text chat application, and what you're getting here is an opportunity to chat with and hang out with a bunch of other like-minded folks who are also contributing to help keep Forgotten Weapons going every day. So hopefully it's a way to have an interesting and more educational conversation than you might get with all of the chaff and noise of something like YouTube comments. Now we're getting to the big stuff. At $10 a month, you will be invited to participate in the live Google Hangout that I will be hosting once a month. I don't have an exact set schedule for these because, well, they will depend on my travel schedule and filming schedule and that sort of thing. But once a month, I'll be hosting approximately a 2-hour Google Hangout, Google Chat, where you can join me and we'll talk live about whatever gun-related subjects people are interested in. So this is a fun way to have a Q&A that's a little more personable. There will be a smaller group of people involved, and of course you'll get instant direct feedback because I'll be in there live and you'll be in there live. We'll have a good time talking. At $20 a month, you'll get access to videos early. If you're on Patreon now, you may have seen some of these messages, but as soon as I have a video uploaded and completed, you'll get access to it through Patreon. So the way I tend to do my scheduling, I have videos that are ready to go as much as a month or 6 weeks ahead of time, sometimes just a couple days. It really kind of depends on what's going on and where the videos are coming from for that particular time frame. But you'll get to see the videos at least a couple days early, and sometimes as much as a month or more early before anyone else gets to see them. At $100 a month, you get to tell me what gun to do a video on. Now, I can't guarantee that I can find something if it's super exotic and rare. However, when I travel to collections and museums and auction houses, I always have I have access to a lot more guns than I have time to film. So there is always a process of choice of figuring out what guns am I going to film for this particular visit or this particular sequence. And if you're at the $100 level and you have told me about something specific that you want, that gun goes to the top of my priority list. So the first time that I have access to it, I will record a video on it and get it out to you as quickly as I can. As you may or may not know, depending on how in tune you are with YouTube's internal politics, the YouTube advertising algorithms that control income for a video channel like this one have changed. They've gone through kind of a roller coaster over the last 6 months. There was a lot of upset about especially large corporate sponsors being concerned over their advertising and their brands being associated with potentially not politically correct content, like, for example, among many other things, guns. And that led to a lot of changes in YouTube's algorithms and a big cut in advertising revenue for a lot of people who are in a position like I am. Now, thanks to Patreon, that wasn't anything fundamentally problematic for me. Of course, You won't have seen any change in the volume of content here. I'm doing, in fact, more than ever. In fact, these days I have more invitations to go visit interesting museums and historical sites and collections around the world than I even have time to accept. So I'm scheduling things out really quite a ways at this point, and there is a ton of content that's coming for you guys, and I'm really excited to be able to bring it to you. And in fact, when I look at the financial structure of what I'm doing with Forgotten Weapons, what happened with YouTube really kind of clued me in that the money, the source of income for a channel, can have some subtle but really substantial impacts on the type of content that's being made. If you're getting money from advertising revenue primarily, there's always this just small voice in the back of your head saying, we want a lot of clicks. More clicks means we do well this month. But more clicks doesn't mean better content. More clicks means you convince someone to click a button, and that's not the goal of a channel like this. I want this to be the best historical, educational, and interesting content that I can possibly make it. And I'm not interested necessarily in trying to get 1 million people to watch every video. What I think is much more healthy for the channel is to be supported by you guys directly through Patreon, because you're the ones who are interested in in-depth content. And if I create a video that all of you guys like, but doesn't get any further viewership out on YouTube, I think I've done a better job than if I create a 1 million view viral video that has no actual interesting content to it. So, knowing that fundamentally the channel can remain financially solvent because of support from Patreon directly, that means it frees me up to do content that I think is interesting, that I know you will think is interesting, even if the average guy on the street's not going to have a clue what we're talking about. So I guess what I'm trying to get at is thank you very much. If you are a supporter on Patreon right now, well, you're going to get hopefully something extra for your money with the new perk levels. If you are not a supporter on Patreon, but you appreciate getting a new video literally every day about some interesting historical firearms subject, well, maybe this is a good time to consider checking out Patreon. Maybe one of those perk levels is the sort of thing that you'd really like to have, and maybe you'll join us. If not, I totally understand. I appreciate having you guys as viewers, and I really appreciate the opportunity that you have all given me to make this my full-time occupation. Hopefully you enjoy the content as well, and thank you very much for watching and supporting.